Right, well, welcome to episode 3 of In Pursuit of Talent, which has got a bit of a different spin to this one because I've invited Holly from the Holsm crew. Now, Holly promotes a fitness app which allows busy people at work that don't have time to always do as much exercise, get to the gym, get to classes, and also busy mums of all ages to be able to work out. Her app is amazing. There's a nutritionist, there's a yoga teacher, there's an everything. I joined probably 6 months ago, and I've gone on a bit of a journey with it. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I think you'll be excited to listen to it. A little bit different from HR and recruitment, so a bit of a breakaway. We're going to be doing another podcast a little bit further down the line. It's going to be a bit more around nutrition, just to mix up the whole world of HR and recruitment. Morning, Holly. Morning, Jemma. Two beautiful people, as you will all see. So what I thought would be good for me to do, I didn't want my podcast to be all about business, all about recruitment, all about human resources, because it can get a bit boring. But I think what's good to bring in about how important it is to be healthy. Everybody's doing some form of fitness, everybody's eating properly. So here you both are this morning. So what we'll do is what I want to do is talk about what Holsm does, what Holsm has to offer business people, mums, everybody out there. It doesn't have to just be business people or mums. It could be people of any age, but what you can actually manage to fit in your day. So I think this morning it'd be really important for Holly to talk about that. And I've got some questions here. I can share my experience because I am delighted to be a member of Holsm, and I can talk about my start journey and where I am now with it. And then Gemma can tell us how to eat properly, which I think will be really good for people to hear. And whilst lots of the people that are going to be listening to it in my world are business people, I do have other people outside of business that I think will be really interested to hear about Holsm. So shall I kick off with some questions?
Yeah,
you're very welcome. You're very welcome. I've got a t-shirt on, so when I normally film, I've obviously got business attire on, so it's quite nice in this quite warm weather to be sitting here in a t-shirt. Right,
looking
okay. Thanks, Holly. Well, I don't feel so great when I'm looking at you two, but hey, let's crack on. Right. So, Holly, tell us about your journey. What drew you to health and fitness coaching, and what keeps you passionate about it?
Well, I mean, fitness has always been in my life. My mum was a fitness instructor for 25, nearly 30 years, actually. So I remember it, as a 7, 8-year-old being in her classes, watching her, being completely inspired by how she just completely owned the room and had people laughing and having a good time. So it was always part of my life. Well, thank you. I moved to London. I worked as a dementia care manager. So I've always cared for people and I've worked with people. Then moving back down to Devon from London, I just needed something different. I wanted to work with people. I wanted to make people happy and feel good. But I was just struggling, thinking, what do I want to do next? I then got a personal trainer for myself, and he changed my life. I felt good. I felt strong. I felt empowered, and it kind of went from there. Really, I just knew that was my calling.
Okay, so I've got a script. So as I said, because I'm quite new to podcasts, I have to have this. Otherwise, I go off at a tangent all over the place. And Holly, even though you don't know me too well, I think you've probably experienced some of that already with me being part of Holsm. Who do you typically work with one-to-one, and what usually brings somebody to you?
So, I mean, I don't typically work with one-to-one anymore. I started very much working one-to-one with people. But then I realized that actually it's community that makes people consistent, and that is the missing piece of the jigsaw, really. So yes, I do work with people one-to-one.
I think you do some, I know from my own experience, I'm soon to be doing some one-to-ones with you. I think,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
we'll come on a little bit more to the app and what the app offers everybody. But I think people that want to do even better and get stronger, you 100%. Do offer the PT as part of Holsm.
I do work with people one-to-one. People come to Holsm and they do what's known as the Fundamentals First program, and they can do that in a group setting or as a one-to-one. So I work in groups and one-to-one. What brings people to me is often people are just feeling a bit lost. People in midlife. I mean, I originally started working with people in pregnancy because I was in that stage of my life. But then as I became more into my midlife and experiencing perimenopause symptoms, so did my clients. So I just kind of went with that. And people come to me because things aren't working quite like they used to. Training programs aren't working like they used to. People know things are going on hormonally. They don't know quite what. They're lost. They're fed all this copious amounts of information on Instagram. They're just confused. I think that's the biggest thing. They're confused. They need to go back to the basics. So I think that's what brings people to me.
And I think also people are inspired.
Yeah.
You know, like you do look at Holly, she carries that energy. I know that that's what drew me into it and wanting to start my physical journey. Obviously, I'm a nutritionist, and so the eating part I was doing, but actually like the moving and getting stronger, and I really wanted to hone in on that and really focus on it.
I think the inspiration is a big one, actually. People come to me because a friend has been coming to me.
I think recommendation, Holly. I mean, you were recommended to me by somebody in New York, for goodness sake. You know, which is, well done, Pam.
Which is amazing, because in Holsm, people are somehow connected by somebody else, because it's word of mouth, and it's that being inspired by other people that brings people in.
Yeah, they see that change.
A lovely face, I think.
Definitely.
And I think I was so nervous about joining Holsm, and Pam, pushed me into that in a nice way, because I've had an injury of my ankle, and it's been a headache. I've been on a real sort of health journey with, losing weight, stopping drinking and all of those things. And I've been on a journey for the last 2 years. And the last hurdle for me was getting the confidence to become, to get fit. And I think it's quite a big thing if you've not done it for a very long time, and just coming into it, and you just feel immediately safe and part of it. And the first 8 weeks for the fundamentals, and how different I felt after that 8 weeks. And I think I'm probably 6 months I've been doing it now. And it's very rare, there's not a day that goes by that I don't do something, whether it's a Lily stretch, whether it's one of your workouts. I cannot believe how different I feel.
You are living the wholesome lifestyle, Lorraine, 100%.
I just can't explain. And it might be I only do 20 minutes one day. It might be I only do 10 minutes. It might be I do half an hour. It might be I do 40 minutes. But the difference I feel is beyond incredible. I can't begin to tell you, which is why I wanted you here today, so I can shout about it. But anyway, I'm going off at a tangent. Anyway, right. So many people say they don't have time to prioritize their health. You've created a way of supporting people through your app, whether they have just 10 minutes or a full hour. Tell me about your app, and how important it is to have a flexible approach, rather than expecting people to follow a one size fits all. But also as well, not having to get in a car, I think, and have to go to a class. For me, that's massive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the beauty of the app is that it is designed to meet you where you are, 100%. I think people overthink fitness, which goes back to that fear of why you were nervous about joining Holsm, because you were scared it was something so big, whereas it doesn't need to be. And I think the app works with that. So life might be chaotic, and you've got 10 minutes, you've got 10 to 15 minutes to dedicate to yourself. Other times you might have more time, and then you've got the stuff in there to dedicate more time to it. So it's so flexible. You have holidays, you have sick children, you have a busy work schedule, but there's so much in there to work with you. And
for me, there's no excuse. I mean, a perfect example is this morning. I sleep really well now. I'm a bit healthier. But I have had 2 really bad nights sleep. Don't know why, but it is what it is. But it was the fundamental with Lily this morning, which was quite a relief for me. But for me, still being able to do 20 minutes this morning, and to think I can do the plank shoulder taps now, I could just cry with happiness.
That's so good.
But because I had a bad night's sleep, you can still think, well, I'm still doing something. And I think, and just doing that 15-20 minutes, that mindset that puts you in, just changes everything. It just changes your day.
100%. And I mean, the app is based around the fundamentals program, the fundamentals workout that everybody masters in 8 weeks. The fundamentals express is 12 minutes. We all have 12 minutes. And I think people 100%. Don't realize how that 12 minutes consistently and regularly changes everything.
And it
We
absolutely
don't have
does.
time to train
Absolutely.
hard 3 to 5 times every single week. We just don't. But if you've got that baseline, you've got that foundation, yes, sometimes you can train harder, other times you can bring it right down, but we've always got 12 minutes to dedicate, and it just changes everything, that 12 minutes.
Yeah. I
As
think
you know.
it all feels achievable, doesn't it? And
Mm.
it's just, I think, one, that safety of your
That's the
own
thing,
home.
Jemma. It's not overwhelming. You're
No,
right.
and
Sorry.
you don't have
Yeah.
that barrier of getting to the gym. You know, for women, there's that insecurity of how do I use the equipment in the gym? Are people looking at me? I
How
feel
do I look?
self-conscious. How do I look? You know, all those things going on. So it takes away that pressure that you can
Yeah.
do it in your home. You can just, you know, don't have to be as visible, you know, do it how you want to. And then also, I was like going to have another really good point and I forgot.
But as the fundamentals of teaching you how to do it well, so it's giving you that confidence. None of this is rocket science. We break it right down, and over that 8 weeks, yes, you're slowly learning new things and building habits without even really realizing. But I think the main thing is to know that it's not rocket science. So you're mastering things. You're mastering the fundamentals. You're going to do these 12 minutes well, and that's the game changer.
Yeah.
It's knowing how to
And
do
the
it.
fundamentals, to break that down to people out there, are, God, I hope I'm explaining this right. Fundamentals are sort of some of the basic exercises we do that you,
So
you
the
need to
fundamental
do.
program is giving you the
Just
absolute
for people, because
foundation.
for fundamentals, it's second nature to me now. Fundamentals, yeah, I know what fundamentals are, but for people out there listening to this, it'd be good for them to understand that.
So the fundamentals first program is an 8-week program that everybody does when they enter Holsm to build that wholesome lifestyle. So you're implementing the absolute foundations of movement, mindset, and nutrition. It's the absolute foundation.
Yeah.
I don't know any other
Yeah.
word for it. It is,
And I think the information you give people to read as well, the packs that you get,
yeah, the
and
manual,
I'm not the best at things like that. I'm thinking, oh God, what have I got to read? Oh, I've got time, but it's interesting. How what all of that goes alongside that, and what you have, and you start reading, and then you've got then you post the videos, and then just watching Jemma talk about, you know, having that kitchen with all of the food out, you know, look, you all of those things, just simple things. You just do, when you're doing your food order, you're thinking, right, I'm going to order that. I'm going to all of those little things for such a small amount of money each month. It's all of these things that you've got at your fingertips.
It's simple, isn't it? Simple,
Yeah.
excessive, and showing people. And again, some people are real down in the detail. They want to read everything. They want to go deeper. But other people, it's kind of more like, right, cool. What's the app telling me to do? Yeah,
tick box.
I'll do it.
Yeah, that's
So
me.
it needs people of how they learn, how they take it. And the thing I wanted to say, I remembered, is it's also of like that little bit that's building up. That's what wholesome is just every day you're doing these little things that build these amazing habits, rather than I'm going on holiday in 6 weeks. I'm gonna slam it. I'm gonna go to the gym 6 days a week. I'm not gonna eat anything. I'm gonna diet. And everyone just hits that like fatigue. Then you're kind of like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, and they go on holiday and put on a stone.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then come back and just forget about what they were doing. This is about every day, just little things. And some days you're going to feel tired and it's going to be hard. Some days you're going to feel really energized and strong and great. And it's going to ebb and flow. But Wholesom's there with you, and it's just that little consistency. That's the magic.
Yeah. And going back to the fundamentals, so that you've got the fundamentals program, but what we refer to as the fundamentals is kind of that fundamentals workout that we master throughout that 8 weeks. So we're repeating moves over and over again to master that foundation, which is what everybody then goes back to in the membership. It's okay, I haven't got time, but I've done my 12-minute fundamentals, and those alone are everything if they're done well. Okay,
so for everyone that's listening, on all my socials, I'm going to be posting all about Holsm, so you guys can go on the website and look at it all, because I've got a list of questions here and I've gone through 3. So I'm going to now pick out a couple that I think will be really relevant to people. So so many people are running on empty and they feel they can't stop. What is that actually doing to them physically and mentally?
So it's kind of
stressful. Making them like a Fruit Loop.
Stress in the work, stress in the workplace, and just kind of like burnout and all those things. It's just really common. And half of it is most people are running on adrenaline and high-powered jobs and everything. They're coming to where it's just go, go, go. And the thing is, like, everyone knows about fight and flight and rest and digest. And the thing is, when we're stressed and we're running on that, it's fight or flight. And back in the day when we were cavemen, that mechanism is all for us to be able to deal with a saber-toothed tiger coming at us. What are we going to do? We can either fight it or we run. So our body is giving us the energy to go straight to our muscles so that we can do that. It's just all about that. When you're in that stage, rest and digesting your lunch or kind of any of those things, that's put to the back. Like you don't need to do that right now. So in modern times, being late for work, worrying about traffic, worrying about emails, like we're kind of in that state all the time, but our body doesn't know the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and being late for work. It still just does the same thing to our body.
Here.
So a lot of people are trying to eat their breakfast, lunch, and they're in that stress state. So they're not digesting properly. And when that happens, you're not taking in any of the nutrients that you need. It then leads to bloating, gut issues, and it just then causes more issues. So it's just, there's that element of it. People then are stressed, you're not sleeping right. That makes you also want to reach for maybe more sugary, energizing foods to get that quick fix. Or people are running on coffee.
And all of those things.
And sugar.
Or then they want their alcohol after work to sort of relax, that you think it's going to give you that more calming and then you'll sleep better. But you feel okay for a little bit, but it wakes you up at night and you're in that cycle. And that's kind of all the stress. You're not working with your mind and body. You're not connected. You're just running on fumes, really.
Okay. Yeah. So, right, I'm going to pick another couple of questions. So if someone is listening to today and they know they need to make changes, but they don't know where to start, what's the first step? Obviously fundamentals, but...
Yes, but we were talking about this, and really the first thing we would say is just stop, just slow down, take a minute and check in. Think about your awareness. Where are you at right now? Look at your posture. How are you holding yourself? Where's your tension?
And you've got somebody you're talking about that in a couple of weeks, haven't you?
Yes. We have a very good guest speaker coming in, which I'm so excited about.
And that's another thing you have is great guest speakers. But there's about posture. I haven't looked on that yet, but I will be.
People think they need to slack and quickly work out, eat the right things and do everything. You can't do everything. So just stop, meet yourself where you're at, take some breaths and go from there. I think soup's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, it was like stress. It doesn't, you could be eating healthily, exercising and do all those things. But if you are stressed and running in that state, it ruins everything. Like you've got to work with that layer. And so you do have to prioritize rest and slow down and just calm. Like, again, like I said, if you're eating just in that state, shoveling food down, it's not helping.
And I think a lot of people sometimes they don't get time to eat. And then they stuff. They get home from work and then they're like stuffing everything down their throat because they're starving, you know. And then they're going to bed on a great big full stomach, aren't they?
Yeah,
I mean, having been in all those places, throughout my career and going through different stages, and I don't want to be sounding like I'm holier than thou because the last 18 months, it's been a real journey making those changes, but it's not easy and it has to be worked at. But the difference you feel in yourself is incredible.
And everything changes. I think it's so ingrained in us. It's so ingrained in us to put ourselves at the bottom of the list. Whereas if you just put it a little bit further up the list, having that 10-15 minutes, it doesn't just change how you look. It doesn't just change how you're feeling physically. It's changing your performance at work. It's changing your relationships. It's changing your sex life. It changes so much. And I think that's the coolest thing. And then what keeps me inspired to keep going with and loving what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Is the change that people see and feel after 8 weeks of the fundamentals. It's not just, but
I think it's important after the 8 weeks. Sorry, Holly, I'm getting all excited now. But after the 8 weeks, it's important because when I finished the 8 weeks, I knew I was going to be staying with the program, but I after the 8 weeks, from 8 weeks to where I am now, I mean, even that, you that 8 weeks is a real eye opener, but to continue with it is really important, and as I say, it might be the odd day. There's been 1 or 2 days that I haven't done anything, that's for sure. I mean, I'm human, but
and that's exactly and it's never linear.
I don't beat myself up, and that's what I kept saying, don't beat yourself up about it. But all I hear is what Pam said, consistent. But I think that's life, isn't it? Everything is got the consistency of doing something
Definitely.
every
We don't
day,
need- we
it's
don't need to give an
incredible.
hour. We don't need to give an hour to go into the gym. People have this again ingrained in them that they have to dedicate time to work out. You don't. Just like brushing your teeth, this needs to become a habit. So you do 5 minutes. If you have no time, you do 5 minutes, and you remind your brain that that's what you do. It's not, I don't have time today. It's like, what can I do? And that's a big part of Holsm. We look at what can I do in that time.
And I
the
think in the
perfect
past,
thing-
sorry, Gemma.
No, go on.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say.
No, you
the
go.
Perfect, the
We're
perfect kind of
excited.
pyramid, is you know, if we're being mindful, we're like restful, you know, getting that sleep in, eating well and moving well, like that's all great. If you're doing all three, you know you're nailing everything. But things happen, don't they? Like you say, you can either not feel great, or you don't get to move that day, got a really busy day at work, but you're like, oh, okay, I'll prioritize making sure I eat healthy, I'll choose a healthier lunch option, or
can I do?
support that. Oh, there's no food that I can pick, I'm traveling, I can only have this food, but that's okay, I'll make sure I have a little walk, or I'll just, prioritize sleeping well. And it's just taking all those different choices. Some days you're going to nail it all 100%, and be like, this is brilliant. But it's just those little tactics, little habits that just keep you going. And one day being bad, or like, that you feel like you're being bad, you're like, it's okay, pick it up. It's never a problem.
And we say in Holsm, you don't fall off the wagon. No one in Holsm falls off the wagon to get back on. It's like, okay, you might step off. You're in control. You step off. You've got a party to go to. You've got things happening. But then you get back on. You get back on whenever you like. And that's something I like to remind people all the time. It's not like, oh, I failed, might as well jack it all in. It's like, no, you stepped off, you get back on.
Yeah, and we always say progress over perfection.
Yeah.
Just
100%.
And whilst I don't want to be holier than thou again, but I do something pretty much 7 days a week. But, people do have, busier times at the weekends. I whilst I do have quite a busy social life, I probably do have a little bit more downtime than people that have got children, because people tend to be at the weekend running around more. That's where my life changes a little bit. But I think even that, there's been times when I've been going up, I still fit in. And again, that just changes your whole day. I think it's not just about how I feel physically, and going back to earlier, mentally, it just changes how you feel. So I'm being told we have 5 minutes, so I'm going to have to pick a real
just on that very quickly there, and that's the community, Lorraine, that is keeping you going. And I can see that, because you're in there, you're seeing what other people are doing, and you're being cheered on. And that's definitely what Holsm is about. It is that community that keeps you going, even when you're feeling like you can't do anything. There is something you can do, because you can see someone else has done it too.
Yeah. And then there's also as well, I'm going off a tangent a bit now, but there's like the breathe work in it. There's Tiffany talking about mindfulness. There's just, whilst the exercise there, it's just, there's so much there that at first you just think, oh my God, what can I do? What can I do? But you can sit in your garden and listen to one of Tiffany's mindfulness for 5 minutes, and you listen to that and you go, at the end of it. It's just so many different things. Right. I'm going to find one more question. Right. Okay. Is there something about health and well-being that you wish more people understood, something that doesn't come up in conversation every day? It's quite a difficult question. That it might take a bit of a think about that.
Go on.
All right. Okay. I thought that. Right. Okay. Sorry. Right.
It just drives me crazy how people think they need at least 40 minutes to exercise, but also that you just exercise. You don't just exercise. It's so much more than that. It's about being in the exercise when you're doing it. It's about owning your moves. It's about the mind-muscle connection, how you're breathing, how you're holding yourself. You're not just ticking a box and working out, because that's not going to get you the results.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that we're talking about this morning. Yeah. I'm sure there was one other thing as well.
I think it was just that simplicity.
It's very much simpler than you think.
Everyone sees social media, don't they? And it's like a million supplements being sold out.
Perfect body.
You've got to be doing this, doing that.
That is the main. That is the main thing for me. Is what vitamins take. What, and I think some of the money that people spend, the simplicity of that. And I think what would be really good.
I think.
But if you haven't got that foundation down,
and it does change your life.
Foundations are important. That's how you build your house. That's how you build your world.
Exactly, strong foundations. And then it just carries forward into everything that you do, your productivity at work, your confidence, your concentration, your resilience. It filters into every aspect of your life. And I think people don't quite realize that. They're just, particularly middle-aged, women in mid-age. What's my word? in perimenopause.
Yeah, no, you are, because I mean, people that know me would say, Lorraine, confident. I have always been bigger. I've always been confident, but the confidence I feel about myself, not just from losing a bit of weight, but how I hold myself. And I think
being stronger.
so many people have commented on the last few months, more so about, you know, I know I look a bit different, but more to the point that how I am. So
you're owning it, and that's what people in Holsm do. They own it, what they're doing in their workouts and in everyday life.
So for people to start, what could we kick off with, Holly? What could we offer people out there?
Well, we usually start with the 8-week fundamentals first program, as we've said, but we are actually running a free 5-day reset, which comes with a midlife thrival guide, and it will just give you a lovely introduction to Holsm, how we do things in Holsm. Have a look at the app, see what's available, and just jump on board with the community and get a feel for what we're all about. I think it's a perfect opportunity to have
great.
Get some real wins. After 5 days, you will see and feel.
Yeah.
You will feel. You might ache a little bit, but as I say, I never thought aching would feel good, but that's a treat. For anybody out there, that's a treat.
It's a gentle reset, and it's just a real gentle introduction. But again, it's the slow and steady which wins, and it's
wins the race.
So
it's the tortoise and hare.
It is. Yeah. It really is.
My father tried to teach me that from a very young age. Not quite sure I've mastered that yet, but you know, still trying. Thanks, girls.
So 5-day reset will be starting on the 3rd of August.
Yeah.
Fab.
So yes, just get in touch if you'd like to jump on board that. We'd love to have you.
Okay. And I think what would be good if I can get you both on another podcast, we maybe do some sort of more focus about nutrition and food and diet, and we can do that as well, Jemma.
Yeah.
But again, none of that is rocket science. It's the foundations that you need, the consistent foundations.
Well, I never forget you posted. I think you put it on Instagram as well, Holly. And as I say, this will all be on my socials, so you'll be able to find everything on Instagram and websites. But you went to your food shop arrived. You were like, right, chicken, chickpeas, whatever. And I'm like, right, pause, right, and I remember, but it's pita bread. No, kids don't like that, but don't worry, they get it. You know, and I was like, but my next shop was that, and it lasted forever.
Yeah,
you know, but just those little things. Yeah,
and again, it's
I
balance,
remember that.
It's
hilarious.
So
you're pulling everything out the bag.
My shopping isn't all healthy, you know. I enjoy a drink, and I like my.
No, there wasn't anything fattening in that shop.
There wasn't in that
Holly.
shop.
It was all healthy. It was all healthy. Right, I think we're about to close, guys.
Probably trying to suck up to me.
Well, yeah, it was just I had to keep pausing it, but I think we've got to finish. I'm being told we have, but look, just been great. I'm just so pleased to have you in my world, and I'm looking forward to the retreat in November. My birthday away week is going to be working out, yoga, and eating healthy. Who'd have thought it?
Yes.
See you soon, girls.
Lorraine.
Thank you so much, Lorraine.
Bye, girls. See you later. Bye.